This was the first week of the new rules signed into law by President Trump regarding the Paycheck Protection Act, PPP. The act, which I discussed during last week's edition of It Happened This Week, provided important new measures of flexibility to PPP recipients. On Monday, Governor Wolf announced a $225 million statewide grant program to support small businesses that were impacted by the COVID-19 public health crisis and subsequent business closure order. DCED will distribute the funds to the community development financial institutions, which will then administer the funding in the form of grants. Also this week, Pennsylvania Senator Pat Stefano filed Senate Bill 1194. The bill would provide important liability protections to businesses that were operating within CDC and health guidelines. Earlier this week, I was pleased to feature business growth expert Meredith Elliott Powell on PRLA Short Takes, the June 8th edition. You would have been seeing Meredith live at the PRLA Leadership Forum this week, were it not for the COVID-19 outbreak. On Wednesday, at the suggestion of the PRLA, the governor's office released updated guidance to restaurant reopening standards. Among other things, the calculation for capacity in absence of a stated fire code was revised from 12 per 1,000 to 24 per 1,000. Booth barriers were added as an option to social distancing between restaurant booths. Dance floors were no longer prohibited, and catering and event venues were added to the restaurant standards. Also, for our brewery friends and beer drinkers, personal growlers could be refilled with certain precautions. Another edition of the Great American Takeout was held yesterday, Thursday, June 11, this time to support and celebrate Black-owned businesses. PRLA provided links to Black-owned restaurants throughout the state, and every social media post that was tagged with hashtag Great American Takeout on June 11th raised $5 for Black Lives Matter. In state politics, the PA legislature passed a resolution attempting to end the governor's COVID-19 emergency declaration. In spite of this, at least at this time, nothing has changed. Businesses should continue following the guidance provided for the yellow and green phases of reopening, and enforcement will continue for those who violate the orders of the governor or the Secretary of Health. It is likely that the dispute between the legislature and the governor will be settled in court based on their differing constitutional interpretations. In positive news, yesterday, Department of Community and Economic Development DCED Secretary Dennis Davin announced that program guidelines and additional details for the COVID-19 relief statewide small business grants are now available on DCED's website. In addition to the small business grants, the Wolf administration today announced community block grant funding for 60 Pennsylvania counties. In another small return to normalcy, PRLA ServSafe classes resumed. ServSafe will be more important than ever due to this health crisis. Also this week, PRLA's Ben Fleccia interviewed Philadelphia restaurant critic and drink columnist Craig Laban about the future look of restaurant critiques. You can find Ben's interview in the June 10th edition of the Daily Update. Also this week, Governor Wolf released updated guidance regarding the types of outdoor recreation that businesses may offer during the yellow and green phases of reopening and how they may do so safely, as the Commonwealth continues to open its own public recreational facilities across the state. Governor Wolf also issued preliminary guidance for high school and recreational sports teams to resume voluntary workouts and other in-person activities during the state's yellow and green phases. The guidance includes college and professional sports. In good news for Philadelphia, just yesterday, the city announced guidelines for resuming outdoor dining in Philly. Restaurants with patio areas on their properties or those that already have sidewalk cafe licenses will be able to offer outdoor seating starting today, Friday, June 12th, as long as they follow COVID-19 safety precautions and have current valid restaurant licenses. Also, Philadelphia City Council's Committee on Commerce and Economic Development unanimously passed legislation that regulates third-party delivery fees, including a cap on fees for the length of COVID-19 emergency and 90 days following the completion of the emergency period. On Thursday, PRLA sponsored a Getting Ready to Reopen panel focusing on how restaurants can make the best of the green phase. Many operators are posting some exciting sales numbers in spite of the 50% capacity and other safety restrictions. As I speak, demonstrations continue around our country focused on racial equality, and as a result, meaningful dialogue seems to be happening. I was honored to have the opportunity to chat with Multicultural Food Service and Hospitality Alliance founder and president, Jerry Fernandez, about what role hospitality industry leaders should be playing in helping to advance this cause forward. Be sure to tune into Monday's edition of PRLA Short Takes to hear directly from Jerry. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of It Happened This Week. I'm John Longstreet, and I'll see you again next week.